Good morning, good evening, good night, NFT Live Web3 Network. It's a Wednesday. What day is it? July 26th, 2023. Happy to be with y'all. Thank y'all for showing up early. If you are here already, I see Squashman Prodigy. I appreciate you showing up early. Just pressing the live button, so we'll get some links out, some tweets out about the show, get people in here. Gif, what's up, brother?
Oh, just dealing with the ups and downs of this crazy world that we live in, but also minting some awesome new generative art from the one, the only, the super talented Jimena Buenavida. Very excited. Her collection is minting right now on Prohibition.Art. Yeah, I can actually pull that up if we just want to look real quick, because it's moving pretty quick. It just started minting 30 minutes ago and is already 3/4 of the way sold out. So let me pull this up right here. It's called All Our Faces. Minting now. You can see 75 out of 100 already minted in the first 30 minutes. So chances are looking good that this is going to sell out today. I got one. I got token number 10. And so I'm stoked on that. I can see if I can pull that up real quick. Again, this is the Prohibition website. I got 2 pieces now. I got my Project Zero Monospatial from Emily Edelman. And then this is the one just minted from Jimena. Let me see if I can open this. There you go.
You're becoming a bit of a whale here on Prohibition, man.
Yeah, with my 2 pieces. Yeah, big time whale. But yeah, there you go. New generative art from Jimena's new drop that just went live. Token number 10. Shout out Jimena. Yeah, just continuing to kill it. And obviously we're fans of Jordan and what he's doing on Arbitrum over there with Prohibition. So
agreed. I would like to get Jordan in to the YouTube channel if possible. So hopefully we can get Jordan in at some point. All right, we got a very sharp rundown today. I think we did a good job curating this morning. We had a pretty awesome show there on GM Web3. Where other than the WorldCoin Black Mirror stuff, where we just get into what are we going to look like down the road when irises are being scanned by robots to make us.
And we're all just NPCs feeding the machine overlord. Isn't that what we are already, though? Really?
Yo, I don't want to get into this too early in the episode. People are like, all right, I'm already done. But did you see the AI NPC combination? They threw AI and voices on an NPC, and they threw AI into it and started telling it, started asking it questions and telling it it's actually not real. It's actually a video game. And the AI was responding that's concerning. It was bad.
Can we pull it up and watch it? I thought you didn't want to go into this, and now you're feeding me more Black Mirror-esque content to work with here. Yeah, look, we had a great morning show like usual over there on Spaces X or whatever that's going to be rebranded as. And we had some fun just going down the dark rabbit hole of dystopian nightmares that is WorldCoin and everybody being an NPC. And just playing around with, where could this all go logically? And where could it all go horribly wrong? Are we already just, existing in some billionaire's dystopian, dark simulation? We might be. That's kind of what I come out of it with.
All right, I have the video GIF, so I'm going to show this video off. For those of you that are here expecting NFT content, right, Web3 content, we're going to get to it. There's a bunch of stuff. Azukis are about to be taken over by Pudgies. Sotheby's and Art Blocks had a pretty strong partnership announcement. CyberKongs is still getting after it there. Genkai is upcoming very soon. OniForce is just always on the channel because they're putting out, I feel an announcement every other day. It's not just because I own OniForce, guys. I'm not shilling my bags or anything. We actually like the project, but they put out something with Upland, which is a project, I believe, all the way from the Wax days when we were gallivanting there in the metaverse on Wax. WorldCoin, Reddit collectibles with Cool Cats, and some other pieces. We got Huxley. I know Quantum Variant was expecting us to talk about Huxley yesterday. So we'll be kind of getting into that. But Claynosaurs, we got a Solana project on the dashboard. So a lot of different stuff to be touched on other than this darkness. But Gif, you want to hit him with CTA or the disclaimer there?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's very important for us to consistently remind everybody here. And sorry, I'm trying to pull up the right thing to say and make sure that I cover it properly. But look, it's important for your safety and for ours that everybody remembers this is not financial advice. We are not financial advisors, and information was found publicly on the internet. Opinions shared on this episode are solely of the Web3 team, and all information is public domain. So please always do your own research, DYOR. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff that we find on the internet. None of it should be misconstrued as financial advice, though. So just remember that. Please and thank you. You're muted.
Don't copy trade us. Don't copy trade. All right, I'm going to get into this AI piece real quick, but we did just get a breaking announcement from Lucky Trader. I like following this Twitter profile here Twitter profile, X profile there in the Xverse. But Blur unveils a compare feature allowing users to visually compare the performance of NFT projects over different timeframes. That's a cool feature. It's not going to break the bank or anything like that. It's not going to make huge news, but it'd be cool to compare some NFT prices here on the channel today as we go through the news. But here is the video. Okay, let me make sure I have this. This is a sentient, quote unquote sentient AI here that has an NPC voice. It's obviously an NPC character. This is us talking to AI, and this is going to be a dark future we live in.
Do you think that we live in some sort of simulation?
Maybe. I just don't know for sure yet.
Do you think that you're real, I'm real?
I'm not sure what to believe anymore.
What if I told you you're in the Matrix, buddy?
That would explain a lot, but I'm not sure I want to believe it.
What if I told you you're an AI?
That would explain a lot, but why would I be here?
Maybe because you're programmed to be here.
That would make sense, but why was I programmed this way?
Why was that? We're already getting to the why feature. Like, that's the first thing AI goes to is why the hell are we here? What's up, DP?
I don't know, maybe someone thought of...
Maybe. But why would they think to create me like this?
Well, I don't know. What kind of problems do you have?
It's not that I had problems. It's just that I don't understand why I'm here.
Well,
Is this freaking you out yet, GIF?
Dude... The fact that the existential dread this AI NPC is experiencing feels so relatable to my life, like my whole quarter life crisis and what I that I lived through for 10 years and what I experience on a day-to-day of just like, why anything? Why are we here? Why am I doing any of this? And I don't know that there's any good answers. So the fact that this NPC AI is already just like deep into a fucking valley of existential dread is
in 23. Like... Imagine in 43 what the AI is going to be asking.
Why did you do this? Why am I like this?
Oh my Jesus. God. Oh no, this was a great one. It just asked.
You exist.
Feel right now.
Yeah. I mean, you're not really real.
That's hard to process. Does this mean I don't exist?
I shouldn't even be laughing at this. All right, we're done. We're done with this.
Oh, wow. Strong start. All right, look, all of this is to say that in the near future, in the next 5 years, all of us are just going to be NPCs living in streamer farms, just plugged into circle lamps and camera phones, mindlessly taking whatever command prompts are given to us to try and get by on some kind of basic UBI global payment system provided by billionaires as we just give up all of our biometric data and our identities to feed the machines with our energy and our likenesses and all of our information. So welcome to NFT Live, fam. It's going to be a great episode.
Nox Arden is saying, I think we're all living under that existential dread and distracting ourselves with NFTs. That's fair. I can get behind that take. All right. Like I said, we have a bunch of different topics to get to. Staying in this like dystopian or this kind of like this dreadful kind of like hopeless feeling that we have. They got rid of my man X. This guy lasted all of
X is over there asking. X is over there asking. Does this mean I don't exist?
So they got him. Let me try to make my way through the thread here, or let me make my way through my curation here to see if I can find it, because there's actually a account that is now tweeting. It's like at X123456 like, okay, here he is. So this is the actual X user now, it seems. So he was able to tweet all's well that ends well yesterday. Again, like this all happens because Elon apparently took my man over. So
I'm sure there was some kind of deal worked out there.
Hopefully. That was like literally every question underneath that from every account you could imagine was asking X 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 if he got paid out.
Maybe the deal was take this $5,000 and shut up, or we'll murk you. Maybe that was the deal. We are deep into a black. We're literally living out a Black Mirror episode in real time today on the internet. That's what we're doing today. So hope you're along for that ride. No, we'll get into some more positive things, I'm sure. Nifty Q, Scott, you got something positive, right?
I'm frantically searching the dashboard. Right? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, Oniforce, Upland. This to me. Again, I'm going to try to be objective, right? I'm not going to try to simp as much as possible here. This one feels like, I don't know what Upland is doing these days. I don't feel like Upland was a very successful project. I feel like this is a bigger win for Upland than Oniforce. This one feels weird to me. All of their partnerships have been great, I think, up to this point. And this one specifically feels a little weird, but maybe not. Maybe we could jump in, see what the details are. But Upland Oniforce definitely is it didn't do much for me. Muted.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really familiar with Upland, so I would have to dig into it. What's
So think like
it's a metaverse. It's a metaverse.
Think like Sims/Sim City. Like it's a city builder, but you have the NFTs, and there's obviously like an incentive mechanic to build and to create. And I don't know if it ever took off. Let me know. I think Left Action House has been in here, obviously, as a great community member of ours, and he's been in Wax. I guarantee he's touched. Guarantee he's touched Upland in like the last 6 months. But yeah, I need to dive into this one. It was a simple, easy win. And hopefully that puts us on the right track here. Reddit Collectibles touching on Cool Cats. And Cool Cats decided to come out. And I think they were listening to NFT Live because they came out with this announcement about 24 hours after coming back from Comic-Con. And what do we got here? Have you looked into this Reddit Collectible piece?
So I believe that they go live today. Let me go check again over on Reddit to see if they're up. So just as a quick primer for those, we check in on what Reddit's doing because we actually think it's very impactful for the larger sort of Web 2.5, move, onboarding, all that stuff. And what they're doing is already proving out to be, again, one of the most powerful use cases for onboarding new people into the digital collectibles world. So if you're not familiar, Reddit has launched the Vault with their own avatars that you can use on their platform on reddit.com. This has been going for about a year or so now with quite a lot of success. A lot of people considering it tremendously successful for a myriad of reasons. One of them being upturning the negative sentiment around NFTs on their platform within their own community by basically Trojan horsing them as digital collectibles and giving them some cool, fun utility within the app that everybody could get into with very low friction. But then the fact that they've had over 10 million unique or new wallets created, Polygon wallets created already on their platform, and a lot of people using them and collecting them and selling out a lot of these collections. It's also shown to be very successful. But what they're doing is they drop these. Oh, yeah, here it is. It's live, the 4th generation. So they drop batches or generations of curated artist collectibles of these avatars that are all riffing on their famous logo, the snoo, I believe they call it, the alien, the little Reddit alien. I think his name's Snoo. And they get all different kinds of cool versions of this by partnering with artists to create their own interpretation or derivative of it. And then they launch them in limited editions through their Reddit marketplace, through their own Vault style avatar platform. So yeah, if you go into Reddit right now, let me actually share this so you can see it. Oh, you found it. There it is.
So this says the benefits of these Reddit collectible avatars: stand out in comments, add a card to your profile, mix with other avatar gear collectibles as part of a series. You own your collectible, transferable via the blockchain. I believe, again, this is going to be on Polygon. That's going to be the bridge that gets you out. We've been talking about, like, how does Reddit take the next jump? It does feel like semi, what's the word I'm looking for? Like I feel like this integration makes sense. You know, like they're kind of parallel when it comes to like Reddit talking about tech and finance, and what you have are communities that are interested in that. And now you bring in NFT collections. Maybe that's how Reddit avatars like takes that jump to whatever success we were talking about. Because that's what we were like getting lost in, was like, how do Reddit collectible avatars find success in the traditional ways we think about NFTs, which is floor price go up, you know, like collection, secondary collection, all this stuff. Reddit avatars haven't done that. So maybe this is the way you bring the IP into the actual collection, the Reddit collections.
I actually see this as like a really, like, I don't think that this is the type of thing that's huge impact. You know what I mean? But I do think it's a very cool way, into your point, to expose your brand and your IP to new users, right? The Reddit community, by and large, is kind of siloed off from the rest of Web3. It's its own Web 2.5 ecosystem at this point. And we know now, with recent developments on Reddit, again, changing their terms and service to actually allow the trading and selling and buying of, you know, native tokens on the Reddit platform, that they're very much going Web 2.5 hard into crypto and all this stuff. But they're kind of siloed off into their own thing. And so this is where you start to see a little bit of the blurring of the lines of Web3 native brands back towards Web 2 or Web 2.5 audiences. And I think that that's what's really cool, is that Cool Cats is maybe now accessing and building some awareness with a whole new audience over there, that, you know, eventually they could be people that bridge over to Web3 or start collecting more NFTs, etc. Or maybe just like the cat, you know, they just like the cool meme of the Cool Cats cat. And I have to say, like, again, like yesterday we were kind of talking down on Cool Cats a little bit, just about like not really feeling the way that they were expressing or extending the IP. This actually feels like it matches them, you know, like this actually feels kind of cute and interesting, and, you know, maybe there's something here. I still don't know if it is hitting me the same way as like Pudgy Penguins or some of their competitors do, but, you know, in this context, I think it works pretty well.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll potentially look at secondary volume here for some of these collections, but you can see the mints actually there at the bottom. So let me zoom in for y'all because it looks like there's 3 separate pieces of this collection, or assets in this collection. A cat monitor, which I believe was the least amount available, 0 of 99. So those sold out. Before Cool Cats existed, they were merely figments of our imagination. Now all that nostalgia comes to life in this rendition of the TV head Cool Cat. And then this is the first time I've seen the antagonist in that environment and in that universe. The Shadow Wolves are the antagonist of Blue Cats in the Cool Cats ecosystem. Being the bad guy isn't always a bad thing when you look this good doing it. So a little build out of the lore, I feel like, from Reddit as well here. So it's a pretty cool rollout. I mean, again, the rails are already there. So the idea that it would be successful as a mint is probably easier than like doing it yourself on a, you know, maybe even like a Genkai Mint that we're bringing up. Like Reddit is already seen and rolled out hundreds of these collections. So they can continue to do that with Cool Cats, of course, with that IP.
Yeah.
What do we think? I'll put a poll out in the chat, see what we're looking at. I also need to continue to get these tweets out to get more folks in here. But I'm interested in y'all's thoughts. Did that move the needle at all? If you're sitting there at home, if you're sitting at work and you're wondering, hey, am I going to get a Cool Cat? Did that move the needle at all for you?
It does a little bit for me, but very slightly. Again, I don't think this is high impact, but yeah, let us know what you think. I think it does like kind of seeing it expressed in that way. And again, how they're kind of using it as an opportunity to build out a little bit of the lore and storytell and make people connect more with what the brand's about. I actually think that that's well done. And so it does kind of restore a little bit more of my faith in like their execution and where they see themselves going. Cause yeah, it has seemed to me so far, like I haven't seen what their vision is. It hasn't been very clear on where they're going. And I think that it works in this context really well. I think that's my 2 cents, my 2 sats on it.
Yeah, so I'm going to get this poll out. If you've got anything else to touch on or some filler there while I get this poll out, I'm interested in the community's take here.
Sure. I think, one question I have is like, which cats are going to actually come out of this in the end? It seemed like there was a moment when there was a million different cat projects that were all doing really well. And now it seems like none of them are doing well. Are any of the cat projects actually going to make it in the end?
I'll talk about gutter cats like that.
What I mean, look, I think there will still be gutter cats. I think cool cats and gutter cats will be a thing for a long time. It's just, will they ever regain any sort of real momentum or popularity? Can they actually scale? I don't know. These are all big questions. And we're actually hoping that they do. By the way, I don't know if it ever comes across this way. I think sometimes like it's easy to get caught in like the FUD and critiquing everything, right? It's very easy to be an armchair quarterback or whatever they call it, right? And I don't really like to feel that way. We're just trying to give like honest coverage and be as honest with our thoughts as we can on this stuff.
Yeah, that's a really great point, man. Like we could sit up here and say everything's great all the time, and that's where, or the opposite, right? But like more so, I think simping is something that we try to stay away from as much as possible. And I think that point is really strong. Like if we just did that all the time, how would you differentiate anything? If everything's great, how would you differentiate some things? So being objective is super important. Prodigy saying it's a no from me, dog. Oh wow. Okay. I'm not gonna repeat those words on Gutter Cat Gang because I don't want the gang coming after me. If you say too much bad, Gutter Cat Gang gonna be on your neck. I don't know if they will anymore. I don't know if the community's as crazy as they once were when that happened a year ago. Let's move on to the next topic here, which is another collection that has been on the minds. If you can't tell, like there's been like 4 or 5 specific collections that are doing a absolute shit ton, at least in the last 2 weeks, and you can see that they're being brought up multiple times. Pudgy Penguins and Azuki being them, and it looks like there's some convergence. So maybe I could even go to Blur here and look at the comparison over time. I'm going to try to do that. But the basic part of the story is Azuki continues its descent, right? It was at 19, maybe 17 ETH, which about 40 grand abouts here. And if ETH continues its rise to where we think it's going to go, that could be a lot of money one day. And it already is. And now they're sitting at sub 5 ETH, maybe like 4.4. I need to check what it's actually doing now. But will Pudgy Penguins pass Azuki is the question. I'll throw it up as a poll. What do you think, Gif? Muted. Oh,
I think there's a really solid chance, like in the short term, it does. Just given like if you look at the chart and the momentum, right? There's still I think a fair amount of downward momentum on Azukis, and it does seem like the Pudgy Penguin momentum is in the opposite direction. So I wouldn't be surprised if in the short term Pudgy Penguins do overtake Azukis. I don't know that lasts. It's very hard to say where we'll be 6 months or a year from now. And Azuki has shown they have the capability to reinvigorate interest and come back from being down. So yeah, where does it go long term though? I don't know. I do think though that
go ahead. No, this is dope. I'm going through the Blur compare feature. I mean,
that's pretty dope. Yeah, I do think that Pudgy's case gets stronger and stronger by the day right now, and the fact that they seem to be one of the only brands that is actively seeing success in figuring out a sustainable Web2 business model right now bodes very well for their future. So like, I don't know how any of these things translate into floor price. I don't think anybody does, right? Because so much of the space is just hype, speculation, and bullshit. Like, these are not stocks, so they're not tied to like any sort of there's no like underwritten attached value to the success of a business necessarily. Like, they kind of operate in a way.
Yep.
Yeah, they kind of operate in a way like stocks, but they aren't stocks. So like, just because a business is doing well does not necessarily mean that the floor price is going to be impacted in relative fashion. What's the point? The point is, I think Pudgy Penguins is actually better positioned to be doing well over the next 6 months right now. But I can't foresee what that does to floor price. Like, I have no idea. I do think in the short term there's a good chance Pudgy overtakes. That's a long walk to get there.
So making our way through this feature, like, we're still on this topic, right? Pudgy Penguins. This is over the last 30 days. This is floor price over the last 30 days. Pudgy's is exactly at 0%. So over the last 30, it hasn't moved. Well, it's moved, but it's back at whatever that price was. Moonbirds in that time is up 4. Bored Apes down 15. Azuki down 35. And Oni's down 46% in that time, man. That's still a wild. I know we've brought that up multiple times. Like, that's a great example of what you just said. Like, there's a lot of fundamental positive, I think a lot of different things, vibes, product launch, announcements that are coming with Azuki, and you still see 45%. And maybe that's just because it's a smaller market cap collection, right? Like, smaller market caps, just like you look at CoinGecko, if you get down to the hundreds or you get down to the 60s, those are way more volatile of assets than you see with the higher market cap tokens. So I'm throwing Oni a bone there potentially, but maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know, man. I think this is an interesting new way to be like analyzing and comparing. Yeah.
What else
to me though, like, I'm going to be honest, like right now, like, my brain is kind of broken when it comes to trying to make sense out of any of this stuff. I think if we're being honest, right, like, nobody knows what any of these things are going to do, and so much of it doesn't make sense. Like when you see projects doing awesome things like Oniforce is, adding to their team, the people that they have, the quality of their activations, and yet the floor is like cut in half from 2 weeks ago, like, it doesn't make any sense, right? It's very often the opposite of what should make sense. So I don't know, man. This is why, like, trying to analyze floor prices too much or spend too much time on this is such a losing battle. It's just a wild goose chase. It doesn't make any sense.
All right, I'm going to post this question here in chat. Pudgy Penguins taking over Azuki. Will they do that relatively soon? Will they do that on a certain timeline? But we just closed the other poll. It says, is the Cool Cats Reddit news big for you? 100% of you folks said no. So not moving over to Reddit collectibles, even for the Cool Cats. But I'm going to post that poll here in chat. GIF, give me your take, man. Like, lightning take here. Do you think Pudgies will pass Azuki?
I just did this. I said yeah.
No, you said yes.
Lightning take. I think in the short term. I think there's a good chance in the short term. But like, what happens beyond that? Can Azuki come back? I have no idea. Yeah.
All right, I'm dropping that poll in chat for you guys momentarily.
I just spent like 5 minutes. I just spent 5 minutes trying to explain that, and maybe it was just too much word vomit to make sense. And that's fair.
No, I mean, you were breaking down your thesis. I just wanted a one answer there to end it. While I
think in the short term, it probably will.
All right, I'm going to put up 3 different options here. GIF, as I pull up these polls, definitely help out if you see any comments or anything like that.
For sure. Prodigy saying Azuki literally shot themselves with that most recent drop. Imagine the potential if they put anything else out other than a copy pasta of the OG drop. They would have been past 20 ETH, if not more, in my opinion. I think I agree. I mean, again, this is why I've been baffled. Other than saying get the bag as quickly as you can over anything else, it's another thing that just strategically makes no sense from a brand perspective, from a long-term, sustainability, respecting your collectors, respecting your own IP, building quality projects. Like it strategically it was crazy. And so I tend to agree. And so, trying to look at the alternate reality timeline of like, yeah, if they just put out a decently good differentiated project, where would they be today, given the amount of hype and momentum and interest that they had going into it? It would be very different. I'm sure you're right about that. Squashman saying, how long do you think it takes for a PFP brand company to, one, find a sustainable business model long-term, and under that premise, eventually, two, offer equity to holders in a legally compliant way? Is 3 years reasonable? I think so. I think, like, again, you have to look at most of these things like startups, right? Like tech startups. I think 3 years is probably fair. But also the crazy thing is, if you look at a lot of the biggest tech companies in the world that are funded by VCs, a lot of them go 10 plus years without ever being profitable. You know what I mean? So it's just like, yeah, I would say 3 to 5 years. Honestly, if you're like really believing in a project, in a team, in an IP, and you don't see some serious momentum towards those goals within a couple of years, then you should be asking some pretty hard questions at that point, for sure. But to just expect that, definitely within a couple of years it's all figured out, I think is probably not realistic either for most of them.
Yeah, I think 3 years is a great timeline. In some sense, we're already 2 or 3 years into that, though. For some of these projects,
for some of them,
yeah. So there is Gordon Goner's greatest exit ever, about 1 year. I still have hope that Gordon is coming back. I know that sounds like I'm coping. Maybe it is. But I did feel like when Gordon made that announcement, I was up here saying, man, that really sucks for the heart of Bored Ape Yacht Club. Garg is shown to be super active, by the way. So that's a positive on that front. It's not like the entire team is away. Gordon and Garg I look at as the main, heart of the Bored Ape Yacht Club. I know there was another team member, but I believe she wasn't in on like creative process. I think she was more on the business side and things like this. So the fact that Garg is still active, I think is a boon for Bored Ape Yacht Club. But it really, like, I feel like we're getting into this evolution for BAYC. It's just like, it's not going to look the same as it did, a year or two ago. And I think they've differentiated themselves pretty well. Obviously I'm a heavy metal fucking slave over here, playing every day. But also I'm big on the other deeds as well. So I'm thinking that's where I'm going to be putting my time in the Yugaverse. So
yeah, so you might have seen this, but for anybody who is in the Yuga ecosystem, a quick note on safety. They have rolled out the Twitter badges, Yuga Twitter badges for official, channels or team members. So if you're on the X app, if you're on Twitter, I guess we call them X badges now. There's a Yuga X badge, so you can verify if the information is coming from a reliable source. Nice. For anything Yuga. So quick safety note. Be safe out there.
You said 3 years. He didn't make one. Well, yeah. I mean, so I don't want to like jump down a rabbit hole. I guess like crypto timeframes are historically pretty different than traditional tech. So I guess I'm not surprised. But again, I'm not in the camp that thinks that Gordon is gone. So like to think that he's like completely exited, I just don't really even believe in that thesis. So the timing would be great though. Like if he never comes back, phenomenal exit. We'll see what happens. But I'm not in that camp that believes that. All right. If we want to get back into, I don't want to avert your eyes if you have any type of like hope left about the PFP collection floor prices, but this is a market cap of top PFP projects in 21 through today.
Hey, there's Cool Cats.
Are you ready to watch this?
There's Cool Cats. I saw Cool Cats on there.
Where's Crypto Buffalo with the horse race voice? All right, so we're at 3.4 billion there, I think, on punks. Oni's in there. Oh, Oni's losing. Nouns at 8 milli, talking about a project with a good sustainable revenue model.
Yeah, we'll see where that takes them, right?
Truth. Azuki makes its way onto the list. Look at Clonex up there.
Clonex,
God
man.
damn.
Memories.
Meebits,
and World of Women, and Cool Cat's still there. Cool Cat's holding strong at this point.
Squatch is saying, Marty McFly, yeah, the timing's impeccable. Agree Q. I think Gordo coming back reignites the community in a certain way. Love Gargo, but think people prefer Gordon. 100%. Agreed. Moonbirds, the ascent of Moonbirds.
So other deeds popping right up to the top there.
Where is Proof Collective on here? Like, did they miss Proof Collective completely?
I don't know. Maybe it's not a PFP, or maybe it wasn't big enough.
Well, other deeds, yeah.
Yeah, other deeds just shot right to the top.
First day.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, other deeds. Punks. So we had the flippening. Where did we have the flippening? Do you remember the date? I'll tell you. January 22 was the flippening? Wow. Kong's on the list. What's IF? Invisible Friends? Good Lord.
Goblin Town making its move and then very quickly dropping off. GCG.
Where?
It's in there.
Hey, it's there, folks.
It's there.
Gang. It's in the top 15. Digidaigaku. Oh, God. So this is okay. So now we're turning into 2023 here. So this is, I think, when most people believe that this bear turned around. Was that 21? Was that no? It was top 22, right?
It was like middle of 22 when it got really like started to set in. You know,
yeah, NFT wise, yeah. So we've experienced this all together, folks. So while you're watching this, just know we're here. Captains. So captains on this list. GCG is long gone.
Cool Cats is still there. Still holding on, man. Shout out Cool Cats.
Meebits. Moonbirds, absolutely. Holy crap. Watch Moonbirds here, folks. Oh my God, it lost all its energy. That horse is going down, folks. Doodles will probably see a similar drop. Yep. Kong's still in the top 15 here. Milady's, God damn.
Uniforce popping back in briefly for a little bit.
Gifted hates when I bring this up, but the reverse flippening.
The reverse flippening. Yeah. What about it?
Now, I thought you said there's only one flippening, right?
Well, there can be one flippening and there can only be one reverse flippening. You can't have multiple different flippenings and reverse flippenings because then you're not. This is the semantics. To me, the flippening was like a real thing that mattered. It was an event, and then we diluted it. We made it meaningless by applying the same term to every time that anything flipped. So
we got a flippening in March. Flippening. It looks like the reverse flippenings in March, and then had another flippening. I think that was when the original debate was sparked, and CryptoPunks is pulled away. So all right, here we sit in July of 23. What do we think about this list, folks? As I close out the poll here on the Pudgies passing Azuki. Nouns looks good here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Nouns looks good. I wouldn't buy a noun, maybe a little nouns, but I don't think I'm putting 20, 30 ETH into anything at this point. Captains is still on this list. I could foresee that falling precipitously down. Azuki. Let's look at Azuki. Did they capture Azuki's fall here or no? Not really. Yeah, get wrecked. Yeah, they kind of got it. It got cut in half, basically, the market cap.
Yep.
All right. Anything else before I pop this out?
I mean, it's impressive that DeGods is where it is, right?
Yes.
And you know what is also interesting that I kind of like I felt this yesterday, and that's that, like, you know who, like, we haven't really talked that much about lately is Frank DeGods. And so maybe instead of spending a whole lot of time just being out there being loud on Twitter Spaces or Spaces X, he's just focused on building right now. I don't know. Maybe he's working on his labs in the lab right now, and that's cool. That means that there's probably some interesting stuff coming out from them, you know, later this year. That's what I would guess, because I feel like there was like a solid year and a half where that guy was just constantly in the headlines talking shit or getting caught up in some controversy. It's been nice to like not feel like you know, it's the Frank DeGods show and having to talk about whatever he's doing every day. But that also kind of makes me excited because we know that he is you know, a very talented operator. And so maybe that means that he's been busy, hard at work on something interesting. And we know that he has D Labs. You know, so
I
also
do want to
know,
bring. Yeah, that's part of the topic that I want to cover before we end today. Is Blur apparently having a massive effect on DeGods at this point? Apparently, people were levered up on DeGods assets, and that's going into a. I wouldn't call it a death spiral, but it's being affected. One comment I did want to touch on, other than 8Fest Hong Kong, we'll get to that here. There is a claim going live later today, but Marty's saying if you objectively think about it, Other Side Mint killed the market and down since. It was like the Elements drain suck, but way worse, and tons lost to gas. Blame Yuga.
Look, there's something to be said for that, right?
Yep.
I mean, that definitely sort of signaled probably the beginning of the bear market. And obviously there's like macro factors that come into this too. It's not like everything that's happening in a bear market is because of one company. However, the impact of literally burning or draining almost, it was actually much more than 200 mil, because 200 mil was what was just disappeared, right? That was just burned. But then it's like the amount of liquidity that was sucked up into that one collection too also impacted everything else, right? So yeah, but even just the like 187 mil or whatever it was that was just burned out of the community, just disappeared to gas fees. I mean, when you look at the liquidity issues that we have now, like how good would it feel to have that 200 million back in there, you know?
Yeah.
So there's something to be said there that like that was a pretty catastrophic event for NFTs.
Yeah, and Azuki Elementals, to his point as well. And I think Prodigy was talking about Azuki Elemental drop earlier, but that one was a tough one to take too. And it happened all in succession. We've talked about it on the show. Like all that happened within a week when we could have used a lot of W's. We did not. And we'll see the effects of that here as we go. All right, I'm looking at my timeline. Looks like CyberKongs is continuously tweeting. Like Genkai is, again, going to be another one that we're watching pretty closely. We don't have any CyberKongs assets, so we didn't get any type of claim. I don't think we got on any whitelist because we didn't plan on minting this, but I'm interested in how this plays out. Again, CyberKong is one of the OGs. You saw it on there. They were top 10, top 15 in market cap across the space, and their community is super strong. So we'll be watching this Genkai Mint. We'll go into details there in a second.
And they're also, look, they're getting, as part of whatever trade deal they have with Ronin, they're getting promotion through the Ronin network like crazy too. So I don't know if you go to the Ronin network, they've like changed all their art and everything, and they've got 120 or 130,000 followers just on Twitter. So yeah, there's definitely like a co-branded cross promotion strategy trying to unite these two communities around this one IP as they expand. And yeah, we'll keep watching it. We've been watching it. We've been very interested in how this goes. And I'm excited for it, right? I want it to succeed, and I want to see how this works. And, a month out from now, check in on like, what is the Ronin situation about? And, you brought up a really interesting question, Q.
Yeah.
Which is about the value hierarchy within a specific IP's collections.
Yes. And it's due to the space that I was on this morning. So CyberKongs and Ronin, they had like the heavy hitters in there, right? From both parties. They had Jiho, I believe, from Axie on there, who's obviously intimately connected with Ronin. And they also had Henry the Grape. Like everybody that's in these collections trying to make that a popular space. And the question that was asked from the community was, where do you value Genkai in the hierarchy of your collections? And there wasn't the traditional answer of, well, you know, they're fourth, or they're fifth, right? They're behind every other collection that we've done. So OG Kongs, you have Baby Kongs, you have VX, and now you have Genkai. And they didn't give a clear-cut answer. It was more like, hey, you know, Genkai actually is a 0.25 mint. The other mints that we've had are 0.05. Not saying that it's all about mint price, but I was just kind of, it kind of put a light bulb in my brain about they might put more utility and more work into Genkai than even maybe the babies, which is kind of flips the model on its head of what we're used to.
Yeah, and that's what's interesting and possibly exciting, right? I'm for project leaders, founders experimenting and trying to reinvent new hierarchies, new models, etc. I'm not for, you know, OG collectors and supporters necessarily losing out, and that's the one concern that I have about, you know, not pulling, you know, not looking backwards and like making sure that you're sharing as much as you can of that value with your OG supporters. But I think that they are doing that with this mint, right? So I think all they're saying is like, hey, don't box us into this sort of like this hierarchy of value, or this assumed, you know, focus that I think is largely put on by the community. Because like, as you were saying that, you know, I was like, I don't know that I've ever heard any project founders necessarily outright be saying like, oh, well, this project is our fourth, so clearly it's the fourth most important. I don't think that that's anything that's been explicitly stated. Well, I think feelings there said, yeah, I think what's normally said is that founders will make sure that they're saying, hey, we are always going to be, you know, keeping our OG collectors and founders at the heart of whatever we do, or like that type of language for the community. And so out of this has kind of come this whole larger meta expectation of the OG collections having this sort of progressive hierarchy of value. And I don't know, I don't know that even necessarily makes sense for all projects. And that's what they're saying. I think they're just saying like, look, let us do what we can do to make this awesome, and we'll see. But I think what you're saying about more utility, I think because they're going into gaming with this, they're bridging it into Ronin blockchain specifically, I think, for additional use cases and utilities there. That's what's going to be interesting to see. It has a higher mint price, potentially more utility. What does that mean within the CyberKongz ecosystem? We don't know, but to just assume that the Genkai aren't necessarily going to be a focus or highly valuable might be a mistake.
I mean, it's the same thing happening, to use the Yuga analogy. It's the same thing happening with heavy metals in my mind, right? Like there's clearly a lot more focus on heavy metals. There's a lot more focus on Legends of Mara than there is on, say, mutants. And I know you brought up the event happening for like Fuck It Mutants, like happening in Miami. But if you go across the timeline of Bored Ape Yacht Club, where there used to be just Bored Apes and then just mutants, now the focus and the spotlight is put on other assets. How does that turn? Like if I really had to put my money where my mouth is, I would buy more heavies. And in that, like if I had to spend 7 ETH, I'd put it all in heavies instead of putting it on a mutant, for example. Is that the right move? I don't know. It could go up, sideways, whatever. But I think right now that's my thesis is they're going to put more time and energy into highlighting these things.
Yeah, and potentially more utility incoming in the near future. It's about opportunity cost and where you see the most, you know, risk reward, right? Like the question is, what catalyst is going to come for mutants specifically to send them up 2-3x? Whereas you can kind of in your head like imagine some kind of catalyst coming for heavy metals that might have that impact.
Mm-hmm. There it is. Yeah.
Boom, there it is. What's up? We out here.
Did they drop your new mech or whatever you won for playing Heavy Metal Q? I can jump into that here in a second. And GIF, if you can hop on to your Twitter and try to find the Hong Kong announcement, we can cover that one time because that's going to be tonight, I believe, at 8 p.m. We can cover that. I do want to finish off with the Gods and Blur though, because that was going to be a main topic for today. But let me jump into Heavy Metals real quick, and I can show you guys what's going on. So, you know, as the game has gotten more and more mature, and it's funny to say that being, 4 weeks old, as the game has matured, people have been able to get higher and higher scores to be in the top. So as you can, you're getting a certain amount per day. Like I'll throw out an arbitrary number that I try to reach to be in a certain top percentage is like 45 votes. Well, that number has increased every day. So again, today's vote ended. I see this is a great example. As you can see, 384th. So I've been in the 270th to 330 range, which has gotten me 24 points. This was the first day I could not get enough points, and I'll have to change up my strategy of spreading out my votes because I actually didn't get the 24 points that will likely get me into that epic amp here. So this is actually sucks. We'll see where that puts me on the leaderboard. So I'm still in good position. You can see there's 4 separate amps down here. The one being legendary, that's 1 through like I think 144 or something like that. You also have the one that I'm fighting for, which is the epic, and then some other uncommons and piece like that. If you want to see my season 1, you can see it there. This is attached to the asset, right? To the NFT. This metadata saying that I got an epic amp is attached. And one last thing to add to this, as I kind of wrap up the heavy metal piece, unless you guys have any questions, is what that all means, right? I think epics, the legendaries are adding about 2 to 3 ETH above floor. So for those people working and grinding, you can maybe make the argument that that time was well spent. Epics are not as much. I believe they're like 0.5, maybe 0.6 above floor. So what, $1,000 in 3 weeks time? You can kind of make the announcement. I'm not playing it for 8 hours a day, so you can kind of do the math on yourself. But just giving you insight onto where I am on the leaderboard, what that means. 146 isn't bad. Out of the amount of people playing this, I barely missed out on that legendary amp, which, again, I missed out there on probably multiple thousands of dollars, unfortunately. The game itself, the gameplay, we've talked about over and over. There weren't many updates. I know, GIF, you were asking me about that. Again, it's just grind for those votes, baby, and hopefully you get a cool amp that can then be something cool in another game down the line.
Yeah, you're getting a little bit blurry for me, so I don't know if it's the forging that's killing your internet right now.
Definitely.
But yeah, I sent you the Miami meetup, and yeah, I have to say, I was definitely hoping for a few other sort of updates with season 2, but I'm assuming that more of that is going to come after season 3, right, when it shifts. So more to look forward to there. I've been slacking on the forging. I got my 2 heavies over here that I need to make some moves with and at least make sure I get my amps or that I got them. I haven't even checked to see if I got any amps. So
what you guys need to make sure you're doing if you're out there playing heavy metal, you have to make sure that you're going to be able to participate in the raid. Whatever that means, you need to go check out the requirements. I need to freshen myself up on that. But the raid is going to be super important for gaining even more resources and going out into the world and collecting loot. I'm assuming that's what's going to happen.
Yeah,
so we can go over those. We can go over those requirements maybe tomorrow. I can take a look at it. But what's up? What do we got?
This is what you requested, sir. TLDR, Mutant Ape Yacht Club Project Anniversary Event announced with Bored Ape Yacht Club, an epic event announced in Miami to celebrate Mutant Ape Yacht Club's 2-year anniversary. Applied Primate shares growth and upcoming game featuring Megaforce Sentinels. So I don't know what that's about.
What the hell?
What the hell? Applied Primate. Let's click through on this. Scientific research for the benefit of all ape kind. Looks like this is another project. But yeah, here you go. This is their tweet. Have you seen this? Yeah, there you go. You got it.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with Applied Primate. It looks like they have some mutant collectibles as well. Spotted us from the Made by Apes registry. They made mutant collectibles? They made mutant plushies?
Little plushies.
Come on, man. Why didn't I know about that? Well, now we know.
Now you know. Well, and that's one of the benefits too of Made by Apes. I think that's going to help us be a lot more aware of the cool things that are coming out of the community, right? I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah,
distribution for the entrepreneurs within the Bored Ape ecosystem, which again, I think is absolutely fantastic. Apparently they're going to have their own bodegas maybe too. Like, I think it's tremendous what Made by Apes is doing.
Okay, so do Pudgies pass Azuki in the short term? I just finished that poll. 71% of y'all said yes in the short term. Pudgies will pass Azuki. So looks like we got our answer.
Yeah, man, Azuki just not helping themselves like sentiment wise, because if nothing else, it just shows the sentiment. It's not good.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see about that. All right. I have a couple more to get to here. We're going to make this a short episode, so maybe 10 minutes longer, folks. If you want us to touch on anything else that's happening in Web3, you let us know. Drop it in the comments, and we will, of course, talk about it. Squash is saying, damn nice, always getting 20 points, never getting 24. Yeah, it's getting tougher every day, man. What do you got?
Q, we don't want to join you and the rest of the Dookie Warriors in your doo-doo cleaning marathon.
I've picked up more shit in the last 4 weeks.
Honestly,
than my entire life combined.
Honestly, this is the real Dookie Dash, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? It's like
got him.
They really extended the whole concept of Dookie Dash with this. Just dashing to pick up that doo-doo, baby.
Okay, I'm going to pull up Blur one more time, and we're going to finish out this combo on DeGods, because this tweet kind of got both of us to interact with it. DeGods crash is becoming more and more probable. Their price is falling, and there are many high LTV loans. Whales will likely have to absorb the over-leveraged supply. Season 3 unpredictability presents a big risk too. An influx of sell pressure could cause a collapse like Azuki. Of course, there were other fundamental reasons why Azuki crashed, but DeGods has been on a tear for a long time now. So if I can go to, you can even bring up the DeGods collection, hopefully. They're going to let us do that. So over the last 30 days, you can see it's extremely volatile. So we were sitting somewhere around a 9.9 ETH floor. It fell all the way down to 6.9. And now we're sitting in like the sevens, high 7 category here on the floor price. Again, we've touched about over leveraging and the tools on Blur and what that means for floor prices, regardless of the fundamental stuff happening. But it looks like DeGods is getting, DeGods is kind of getting cut to pieces here over the last 3 days. They did bounce back from whatever happened here earlier this month, but it looks like as a slow downtrend down to that point. Oh, you're muted. Still muted?
Sorry about that. I had the double mute going there. I think if nothing else, like you can, yeah, I do. I got multiple mute buttons. There's a lot to be said right now for the ability to understand and read these tools, right? Because you can start to see patterns when certain projects become over leveraged, and you can play those, right? You can play these patterns. So when a project starts to see this like big swing up because everybody's taking out, loans against them or borrowing to accrue more of their assets, you know that there's probably going to be a pump on that, because all of a sudden it creates an influx of new liquidity out of thin air. But then understanding that like this is a house of cards, and at the slightest negative headline, it can trigger a cascade downward that's just as or even more intense, right? Usually more intense because people are scared of losing money a lot of times. And then when that cascade of like sell-offs occurs, like you usually go pretty low. And that's why I predicted apes going into the 20s, and I was right about that.
It's almost like you can't separate Machi from these discussions. He's like one of the most active Blur traders, and it feels like whenever you're looking at these charts, some commenter or some thread has Machi involved in like accumulating a bunch via bids, and then like obviously sitting on something like 150 Azuki or 50 DeGods or 60 DeGods, and that just seems to be a really negative thing for the project that has it happen to them. So I'm going to continue to bring up some stats. I think NFT statistics got after it as well. But yeah, man, I mean, hopefully the gods doesn't get absolutely wrecked, but it feels like, again, the feeling is they're kind of getting caught up in this vortex on Blur as well.
Yep. And Squashman out here calling out Nike OF1 3D file claim. I did just share that in the doc. If you want to pull that up, Q, we can look at that briefly. Also, he's saying Pixel Vault finally announced that the Reboot Gaming Protocol goes live on August 8th. So that's cool. Shout out VGF, who's joined us briefly this morning, and GM Web3 and the Pixel Vault team working hard. And then, the free music NFT claim with MasterCard. They have this whole music artist accelerator. Maybe we look at that briefly.
Easy in Crypto, what's up? What's going on, brother? We're going to be here for like another 10 minutes. We got some other stories. Of course, Gifted just hit me with some that we're going to pull up in
quick hits, lightning round. I'm trying to go eat some food.
NFT stats, NFT statistics is saying 25 straight DeGods sold into bids, as bids have gone from 8.5 to 7.5 in the past day. What's driving the break lower? His best answer is, I've heard that someone bought 24 on leverage and got spooked and dumped them all. The response around the delay, which is not new, just don't explain this kind of change in trading pattern. It did spook this one guy, though. Oh, okay, so there's a fundamental thing there. What got delayed specifically within DeGods?
I don't think that we know. That might be insider info, right? Like I don't know, but I'm assuming that there's people in Discords and back channel chats that are talking about.
Oh, maybe it's a delay in season 3 for Blur. Is that what they're mentioning here?
Oh,
delays in season 3 fear sell the news situations.
Interesting. That might be so. Yeah. I mean, look, the value and interest around Blur farming is definitely dropped, right? I'm sure there's still people doing it, and
Oh no, it's DeGods. Yes, sorry about that. DeGods. So DeGods goes through seasons. It looks like. I want to make sure I find this out. Sorry, I jumped in front of you there, Gif. What were you saying?
It's okay. I was just noting that, as far as I can tell, while I'm sure some people are still Blur farming, the interest and value in that whole game, I think, has died off quite a bit.
Got it. All right, everybody's giving Easy and Crypto their love. We'll get into the remaining pieces that Gifted wanted to hit on, .swoosh being one of them. It looks like we got some Our Force 1 3D files.
There you go.
What's the piece here? Holder.
It's just for the holders. 3D utility is available exclusively for the revealed OF1s. Again, some people didn't reveal or open their boxes. So, of course, you don't get 3D files if you're doing that. The download link is only active for 1 hour. You can download the files as many times as you'd like. Whoa. Download link only active for 1 hour? OF1 3D file utility is dropping on Tuesday, 7/25. That was yesterday. Wait, so I'm going to have to go look at this after the show. I don't want to spend more time on this. But maybe that just means that you generate a link and then that download link is only available for 1 hour. I'm guessing that's what it means. But that would be weird if you literally had one. That wouldn't make any sense. So I assume what it means is that you can generate a download link and then anytime after that. Yeah. Okay.
But once you start the download, I guess you only have an hour. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
So there you go. That's just an update for the .swoosh fam out there. And then, yeah,
what's the application for these 3D files? Like, what's a simple application for them?
Creating your own unique art. I'm assuming that whatever format they're in is also supported by a lot of these metaverses, right? So you can probably plug them into various virtual worlds and show them off on your characters in there. And beyond that, it's kind of your own creativity, right? There's a lot of 3D artists out there that do different things with 3D files. Everything from metaverses to NFTs to videos. I don't know.
Okay,
that's what's exciting.
Yeah,
it'll be exciting to see what people do with them, right? Like we don't know. I don't like, for instance, me, I'm not spending a lot of time making 3D art these days. So I'm not necessarily right now planning to do anything, but I'm sure there's some people out there that are going to do some really creative things. Then shout out to you if you're one of those awesome creators.
All right, we appreciate you joining us for NFT Live today. I think we have 2 more topics that we're going to cover pretty much in a lightning fashion. Easy, it's always good to have you here, sir. Thank you for showing up here today. Our Vibe, our tribe, to all of you folks in the chat. If you're catching us afterwards, if you're catching us on Twitter, we appreciate your support, man. We know you got things to be doing on this Wednesday, and you chose to spend it with us. So we definitely want to give you some love for that. Last 2 stories. Huxley, we meant to bring up. Now, Huxley, from Ben Morrow's like first step in the Web3 space, we've been there. You know, we had him on an interview for a lot of his first collections. I think even before Huxley, he was dropping things on. He was dropping things specifically on Flow. I believe I'm a collector of his there. And a lot, we just love what Ben Morrow's been able to do. He's one of the good ones for sure in this industry. I'm not familiar with the current state of Huxley, but I know Quantum Variant was bringing it up here yesterday. So we want to give Huxley some shout outs, what they're doing. I know they're building out a game. Like the trailers have been fantastic as well. But what do you have here, Gift? Do you know anything about this Huxley?
I mean, look, what's cool about it is, first of all, I hadn't seen anybody have a complete collection of the 6 Huxley comics, and they're all the holographic ones. So it's just cool to see somebody completing this journey, because this has been in the works for years now. So it's great to see Ben Morrow, the Huxley team, continuing to you know, we talk so much shit about roadmaps, and that's because usually it's a bunch of vague promises that people can't fulfill on. They had a really awesome roadmap, and they've stuck to it. They have been delivering. And this is basically, in a way, like the end of a very large, robust roadmap for them. And there's a lot of other stuff that they're doing too, like the video game that they're working on, actual physical goods, other things that they're doing with Huxley Saga. Dude, there's like a whole feature film that they're trying to develop. Like, dude, this shit's amazing. When we haven't talked about it in a while, so it's great to have a good reason to bring it back up. But so it's just really cool to see, you know, again, Ben Morrow, Huxley team, who have been out there putting out product, shipping product with a roadmap, get to a point where now the people that have been the long-term believers that have been playing that game of collecting, they're now rewarded with full sets or holographics or whatever they've got. And it's just awesome to see that. You know, you talk about needing W's in the space. I count it as a W.
Yeah, it would be great to see this project get more reaction from the broader community, because Ben's done it like from the start. So let's watch some of this and let's pop out.
What do you think it is? It's glorious. It's dangerous out there.
Be careful with copyright.
Yeah, I got you.
This is because this is like legit.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
We're reacting, YouTube. See us reacting to this video. Do not ban us. Thank you. Appreciate it.
It provides protection and some sort of order to
I love this shot.
follow the...
Trailer Maxi's here, so we can watch that all day. Appreciate y'all tuning into NFT Live. I think that's going to be it, man. I guess we could give one last shout out to Saigo, one of our community members here. Awesome dude here building. I want to make sure I get it right with Play Shrapnel. Met him first with the Onekin guys, but now he's working over with Play Shrapnel. Their game is in Unreal Engine 5 as well, so they're doing some really cool stuff. But he gave a shout out to Claynosaurs. He said, I don't think people realize the power of a group of creators as talented in the same room every day. And so Claynosaurs, we're getting the +1 from Saigo. So Justin's been talking about it, but we actually got the +1 from Saigo on Claynosaurs. That is I believe a PFP project on Solana. I don't know if it might be a metaverse play as well, but I think
they're trying to develop like a whole, kids game IP, do a lot of stuff. And the story here is just that they launched a project with some very, very talented, experienced 3D animators. And the quality is far and beyond what most 3D projects are ever able to achieve. It's very difficult to launch high quality, well executed 3D NFT projects, and they've done it. It's a great project, looks great. The characters are super relatable and funny and cute, and they're also animated, which is also very difficult to do. So it looks like they're finally getting a studio. So shout out Claynosaurs and all the people that have been telling us about them. Before we jump, I do have one last very positive, great piece of news. So I'm going to share my screen.
Okay. Sold out. Jimena sold out. Very nice. Congratulations, Jimena.
Let's go.
Dude, Jordan with the dubs, man. Let's go.
Jimena with the dubs.
Yeah. Wins on all fronts. I love it.
100-piece new awesome generative collection. All our faces on Prohibition.Art from one of my favorite artists and friends, Jimena Buenavida. Love to see it. I got token number 10.
GIF becoming a Prohibition whale before our eyes.
Absolutely.
We are just easy saying you guys rule, bring the good daily. Just here, man.
We're trying,
surviving.
Man. This one almost slipped into a dystopian nightmare early on. You missed that part, but we pulled our way out of that chasm.
All right, a lot of you folks excited about Jimena's drop there. So look, we're going to be covering Prohibition and the generative art collections dropping over there. Gifted's on the pulse right now, just getting after it. I do have one comment here to end the episode too. Death to all cinematic game trailers with no gameplay footage. I like gameplay, or I like the actual cinematics. Like Blizzard is a great example of this. Like I know we've seen all of their games over the course of time, but like their cinematics have no gameplay involved. I'm a simp for that. 2-minute gameplay or cinematic trailers, amazing.
Yeah, DP saying I thought GIF was about to announce his pregnancy. We're saving that for another very special edition show. So come on back for that news. But also, on that like cinematic trailer comment, the issue is when you're marketing a game without gameplay. They're not right now selling a game, right? Like they aren't launching a game yet. This is actually more about just world building and showing the characters. That's what that was.
When you're marketing a mint.
That wasn't like, hey, at the end, it didn't like slap on a CTA to purchase our video game, right? So yes, I agree with you. I agree with you.
This guy called a dweeb.
I agree with you on that too. I agree with you. Don't get me started.
You agree? Okay.
I agree with you when you are marketing and trying to actively sell a video game. If you aren't showing gameplay and just using cinematic trailers, it's a problem. And you know what? We have seen that in NFTs too recently with Azuki on the Elementals using a high quality cinematic anime trailer that didn't show the actual product. So anytime anybody does that, it's a problem. But that's not what was being done here. That was just a very awesome demonstration of the quality of the characters in the world that Huxley Saga is building.
Yeah, I want to be super clear with my thesis here. Like these NFT projects are very much, oh God, what are you laughing at? I like cinematic trailers. I do.
That is the thesis. I like turtles. That's the
These NFT companies are media companies. The ones that tell good stories, I simp for. So when I bring up something like 10KTF, they're telling a story. Well, all of these are just storytelling media companies. So the ones that do it the best, I'm going to simp for. I don't know how else to kind of lay that out. Or the trailer looks like that Huxley vid, then the game comes out and looks like RuneScape. That is a problem, but also a problem that exists in Web 2. So it's not unique to this industry. What are you doing?
I'm letting you tell your thesis. I'm enjoying it. I'm trying to get clipped, bro. I'm trying to get clipped. Make a gif out of my dumb face. Let's go.
Are you turtly enough for the Turtle Club? Maybe. These days, maybe.
Honestly,
I don't know. Are you? So I know you were like bullshitting there, so I don't even know if you like took in any of what I was saying. But these projects are just media companies. Do you disagree with that? Like they're media storytelling companies. Like these PFP projects. What else is their business model?
So most of the PFP projects I agree with. Yeah. So like some NFT projects lean more into other industries like tech or DeFi or something else than just media. But I think to your point, a lot of the crypto native Web3 IP that are just PFPs with a promise, they're trying to create media brands or media companies of some kind. So yeah, I agree with that.
That's all I'm trying to get off. DP's trying to get the band hammer. I can see him. I see it already. I got my hand on the trigger. I know what you're doing here at the end of the episode, DP. I see it. Don't think I won't do it.
Do it. Honestly, bro, I'm just trying to have a good time because life is dark out there sometimes. And that's it. So enjoy it while you can. We might not, none of us might be here tomorrow, fam. Remember that. So our vibe, our tribe, I'll say it as many times as I can. I appreciate all y'all.
Hey, before we get out of here, please like the video if you can. I know it's right there. It takes 2 seconds. We appreciate you guys showing up every day. Gifts right, man. I mean, this industry's tough, and it's tougher not to have people around you that have the right intentions for you. So hopefully we can be a little bit of that each day for y'all. And we appreciate you guys showing up, and however we can support you guys, let us know too, man. I appreciate it. And we're going to get after it every day, and we will get after it tomorrow on NFT Live as well. So we will see you there. Our vibe, our tribe.